The search for life beyond Earth entered a transformative phase when NASA released groundbreaking data on April 17th, 2025. Scientists detected chemical signatures in the atmosphere of K218b, a distant exoplanet that suggests the presence of biological activity with a probability reaching 99.7%. Located 124 light years from Earth, this world has captured the attention of researchers worldwide. Its atmosphere contains compounds that, on our planet, are almost exclusively produced by living organisms. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is that these substances appear in concentrations roughly 1,000 times higher than those found in Earth's atmosphere. If these compounds truly originate from biological processes, as they do here, then K218b might harbor not just microbial life, but potentially vast ecosystems. All evidence suggests this world could be completely covered by deep oceans, a true water world concealing active biology beneath its surface. Life there, if it exists, might differ fundamentally from anything humanity has encountered. The journey to this discovery began in 2015 when the Kepler Space Telescope, operating under its K2 extended mission, systematically surveyed distant star systems. During this phase, the telescope identified over 1,200 planets orbiting other stars. One planet in particular stood out due to its unusual characteristics and potential habitability markers. This world measured approximately 2.5 times Earth's diameter and possessed nearly 9 times our planet's mass. The scientific community designated it K218b and began intensive follow-up observations. 2 years later, the Spitzer Space Telescope contributed crucial data to the growing body of knowledge about K218b. Its observations confirmed that the planet orbited within the habitable zone of its host star, that precise region where temperatures allow liquid water to exist on a planetary surface. Simultaneously, astronomers in Chile employed the HARP spectrograph, an instrument capable of measuring planetary density with exceptional precision. Their calculations suggested that K218b possessed characteristics consistent with an ocean-bearing world. The scientific stakes escalated as multiple independent observations pointed toward the same conclusion. In 2019, the Hubble Space Telescope detected water vapor in K218b's atmosphere, marking another significant milestone. The possibility that this distant world harbored deep, life-sustaining oceans transitioned from theoretical speculation to plausible reality. Then came the most dramatic revelation. In 2023, the James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most sophisticated astronomical instrument, turned its advanced sensors toward K218b. What it detected sent ripples through the scientific community. The telescope identified traces of dimethyl sulfide, a chemical compound that, with extraordinarily rare exceptions, is produced by living organisms on Earth. Phytoplankton and various marine microorganisms generate this substance through their metabolic processes. If this detection proved accurate, scientists might have discovered the first tangible evidence of extraterrestrial life. Caution remained paramount. Single measurements, regardless of their sophistication, cannot constitute definitive proof. The data might have been compromised by instrumental artifacts or interpretation errors. The initial detection came from the James Webb Telescope's near-infrared camera, and distinguishing dimethyl sulfide from similar compounds like methane in that spectral range presents considerable challenges. Scientists confronted a fundamental question about whether the signal represented genuine atmospheric chemistry or merely an instrumental peculiarity. NASA decided to conduct independent verification using different equipment and methodologies. If two separate instruments produced concordant results, the discovery would gain substantial credibility. On April 17th, 2000, 2025, the James Webb Telescope performed a comprehensive secondary scan of K218be using its mid-infrared camera, an entirely different instrument from the one used initially. The results exceeded expectations. Dimethyl sulfide signatures appeared again, and their intensity suggested concentrations potentially 1,000 times greater than those in Earth's atmosphere. This wasn't simply trace detection of an obscure gas. Dimethyl sulfide possesses distinctive properties that make its presence particularly meaningful. On Earth, this compound emerges when microscopic algae, particularly phytoplankton, undergo decomposition in oceanic environments. During their decay, this volatile gas releases easily, evaporating from the water surface and rising into the atmosphere. Anyone who has walked along a coastline during windy conditions has encountered this smell. Dimethyl sulfide creates that unmistakable ocean scent that distinguishes marine environments. Beyond its aromatic properties, this gas exhibits a crucial characteristic. It demonstrates remarkable instability in atmospheric conditions. Once released, it persists for only several days before sunlight and reactive atmospheric components destroy it. This rapid degradation means the gas cannot simply accumulate over time. Something must continuously replenish it. On Earth, that replenishment almost invariably connects to biological activity. This fact explains why the scientific community responded with such intense interest. The concentration detected in K218b's atmosphere exceeds terrestrial levels by 3 orders of magnitude. Given the gas's short atmospheric lifetime, one logical explanation emerges. If its origin is biological, as observed on Earth, then K218b must support life on an enormous scale, sufficient to maintain such elevated atmospheric concentrations continuously. Detecting this chemical signature from a distance of 124 light-years represents a remarkable technical achievement. The James Webb Telescope accomplished this through an elegant method known as transit spectroscopy. Each time K218b passes directly between its star and Earth, a tiny fraction of starlight filters through the planet's atmospheric layers. Although this represents an infinitesimal portion of the star's total output, it carries encoded information about atmospheric composition. The atmosphere functions as a selective filter, absorbing specific wavelengths corresponding to various chemical species present. These subtle alterations in the stellar spectrum serve as signatures that the telescope captures and transmits to Earth. Scientists then analyze these spectral fingerprints to reconstruct the chemical makeup of atmospheres located across interstellar distances. Understanding what K218b might conceal requires examining the conditions under which it exists. The planet orbits K218, a red dwarf star situated 124 light-years from our solar system. Red dwarfs represent the most common stellar type in the galaxy, smaller, cooler, and dimmer than our Sun. K218b's orbit lies surprisingly close to its star, roughly 2.5 times nearer than Mercury approaches the Sun. However, because the star itself radiates far less energy than our Sun, this proximity doesn't result in extreme temperatures. Through this fortuitous cosmic arrangement, K218b receives approximately the same amount of energy as Earth obtains from the Sun, placing it squarely within the habitable zone. Scientists classify K218b as a possible Hycean planet, a theoretical category of exoplanet proposed in 2021. These hypothetical worlds would be completely enveloped by deep oceans beneath thick, hydrogen-rich atmospheres. Additional evidence supports this ocean world hypothesis. The absence of ammonia in K218b's atmosphere proves particularly telling. boiling. If abundant water exists on the surface, ammonia would readily dissolve into those oceans rather than remaining in gaseous form above them. Yet, significant uncertainties remain. If the planet indeed possesses a global ocean beneath a dense atmosphere, internal heat might render conditions incompatible with life. Extreme temperatures, crushing pressures, and hostile chemistry could transform the ocean into an uninhabitable environment. Furthermore, debate continues regarding the planet's fundamental nature. Some researchers, including scientists from NASA's Ames Research Center, propose that K218b might actually be a miniature gas giant without any solid or liquid surface. If this interpretation proves correct, prospects for life diminish substantially. However, the research team led by Professor Niku Madhusudan from Cambridge University's Institute of Astronomy maintains considerably more optimistic projections. His group discovered the dimethyl sulfide signatures, and they remain convinced that K218b harbors an ocean and potentially abundant life. According to their estimates, within 1 to 2 years, scientists will definitively determine whether this gas exists in the quantities detected and whether it originates from biological processes or alternative chemical pathways. Current statistical analysis places the probability of genuine biosignatures at 99.7% confidence. This represents the highest reliability level ever achieved in the search for life beyond Earth. In scientific terminology, this corresponds to 3 sigma certainty, meaning approximately 99.7% confidence. For comparison, initial observations yielded only 1 sigma confidence, roughly 68% certainty. For a scientific claim to achieve absolute acceptance, it must reach 5 sigma confidence, corresponding to 99.9994% certainty, or merely 1 chance in a million of error. This stringent threshold was required for announcing the Higgs boson discovery in 2012, and identical standards now apply to the K218b data. Despite promising indications, researchers proceed with appropriate caution. Declaring the discovery of extraterrestrial life prematurely would constitute a grave error. To confidently announce life on K218b, scientists must first confirm dimethyl sulfide's presence with 5 sigma certainty, then prove its biological origin matches terrestrial production mechanisms. If both conditions are satisfied, humanity will witness something unprecedented, the first confirmed detection of life beyond Earth. What makes this potential discovery even more profound is the location where it might occur. K218b sits just 124 light-years distant, approximately 730 trillion miles. For humanity, this distance remains utterly insurmountable. Sending humans to Mars still presents enormous challenges, and interstellar travel may forever exceed our technological capabilities. Yet, from the universe's perspective, 124 light-years barely registers. The observable universe extends across 93 billion light-years. If life exists at such a relatively close distance, it would suggest that the cosmos teems with biology. This would fundamentally transform our understanding of life's prevalence throughout space. For now, it remains hypothetical. Research continues, and despite scientific caution, one fact stands clear. Never before has humanity approached so closely to answering the most profound question of our existence. While scientists pursue definitive answers, we can contemplate what life might resemble on this mysterious world if it truly flourishes there. Beginning with the simplest forms makes logical sense. On Earth, all complexity emerged from microscopic origins. Life on K218b would most likely follow similar developmental pathways. pathways. The primary candidates would be microorganisms capable of surviving in hydrogen-rich atmospheres under elevated pressure and temperature. They might resemble Earth's extremophiles, microbes inhabiting deep ocean environments near hydrothermal vents where temperatures exceed 100 degrees Celsius. These organisms require no sunlight, instead deriving energy from chemical reactions such as hydrogen sulfide oxidation. On K218b, such chemical reactions might occur abundantly given the hydrogen atmosphere and possible volcanic activity. If life on this planet evolved beyond single-celled organisms, intriguing possibilities emerge. What might complex life forms look like under these conditions? A deep ocean beneath a dense atmosphere would receive virtually no light, meaning vision might not serve as the primary sensory modality. Similar to Earth's deep ocean fauna, organisms might navigate by detecting vibrations, thermal gradients, magnetic fields, or chemical signatures. Some could develop bioluminescence, the capacity to produce light analogous to terrestrial fireflies or deep-sea anglerfish. Particularly interesting is the question of scale. In a hydrogen atmosphere, where the medium density is lower than Earth's air, organisms might experience advantages for attaining large size. Hydrogen's lower density means greater buoyant forces, potentially enabling the development of creatures far larger than those on Earth. They might move slowly with massive bodies adapted to high pressure and dense water, perhaps resembling giant jellyfish or amorphous entities drifting through warm ocean depths, or even floating within the atmosphere itself. Adaptation to enormous pressure would likely constitute a fundamental feature of these organisms. K218b's ocean could be significantly deeper than Earth's seas. If diverse life exists, some representatives might comfortably inhabit depths of 10 to 15 miles, where pressures could reach 1,600 to 2,400 atmospheres, far exceeding pressures at Earth's deepest point, the Mariana Trench. To survive such extremes, K218b's fauna might possess bodies capable of withstanding immense compression. Strong yet flexible outer structures protecting internal organs seem essential. These creatures might have dense, almost cartilaginous or skeletal frameworks, constructed from tough biopolymers several times stronger than those found in terrestrial organisms. Imagine animals with external skeletons covered in specialized materials, capable of withstanding and distributing high pressure across internal tissues. These structures might resemble exoskeletal organisms like crabs, but far denser and more resistant to deformation. Their bodies might be covered with tough biological scales or flexible armor that combines strength with mobility. Naturally, all this remains pure speculation. We don't know what chemical reactions drive metabolism in potential K218b organisms, if they exist at all. We don't know which molecules fulfill DNA's role there. But if the detected dimethyl sulfide truly originates from biological processes, it would mean life there is not merely possible, but already adapted and thriving. Perhaps even now, in the warm depths of a distant ocean, creatures move slowly for whom our planet is as alien and unreachable as their world is to us. Although K218b currently stands as the most promising candidate for extraterrestrial life, it's far from the only intriguing world scientists have identified. Teegarden B, located just 12.5 light years away, represents another fascinating target. By cosmic standards, this distance is remarkably close. Scientists estimate roughly 60% probability that this planet experiences Earth-like conditions. Moderate temperatures possibly ranging from 0 to 50 degrees Celsius, liquid water, and relatively stable climate might all characterize Teegarden B. However, a crucial caveat exists. Such conditions, if present, likely occur occur only in a narrow transitional zone between day and night. The planet is almost certainly tidally locked, perpetually showing one face to its star. This creates permanent daylight on one hemisphere and eternal darkness on the other, resulting in extreme temperature contrasts from scorching heat to freezing cold. Precisely along the boundary between these extremes lies the zone of eternal twilight, where moderate climate might persist. Liquid water could exist there, and therefore possibly life, perhaps even complex multicellular organisms. Another compelling candidate is Kepler 1649c, discovered in 2020 and situated 301 light-years away in the constellation Cygnus. Despite the distance, several features make it particularly interesting. This planet orbits a small, dim red dwarf about 5 times less massive than our Sun and 4 times smaller in diameter. Consequently, the planet receives roughly 25% as much energy as Earth receives from the Sun. The planet itself exceeds Earth's dimensions slightly, about 6% larger in radius and 20% more massive. Its gravity would feel reasonably familiar, neither oppressively strong nor uncomfortably weak. However, like Teegarden B, Kepler 1649c likely faces tidal locking challenges. This situation could create extreme conditions, one side too hot and the other frozen. Yet, in the twilight zone between these extremes, stable climate with Earth-like temperatures and liquid water might exist. Within this narrow strip between light and darkness, primitive life could potentially establish itself. TOI 700d represents yet another intriguing habitability candidate. Located in the constellation Dorado approximately 101 light-years from Earth, this planet was discovered in 2020. It's the third and outermost planet in the TOI 700 system, and perhaps the most interesting. Unlike Teegarden B and Kepler 1649c, which are likely tidally locked, TOI 700d may not have reached tidal locking yet. Thanks to this, the planet could still experience day-night cycles, resulting in more stable and life-friendly climate patterns. The planet receives about 86% of Earth's solar energy, slightly less, but still adequate. Its calculated surface temperature hovers around -4 degrees Celsius, cool but not extreme. If the planet possesses even modest greenhouse effects, conditions could be considerably milder. In terms of dimensions, TOI 700d slightly exceeds Earth. Its mass and radius are somewhat greater, meaning gravity would be stronger but still tolerable for potential life. Another advantage involves the star itself. TOI 700 is relatively quiescent, not producing powerful flares and storms that could strip away planetary atmosphere, a rarity among red dwarfs, most of which exhibit considerable volatility. A calm star increases prospects for long-lasting atmospheres, oceans, and possibly life. We still cannot determine exactly what occurs on TOI 700d's surface, but accumulating evidence suggests it deserves placement on the list of most promising known exoplanets. However, not all potentially interesting planets resemble Earth. Some appear to have emerged from science fiction. J1407b ranks among the strangest planets scientists have discovered. Located approximately 434 light-years from Earth, this represents Saturn on an unprecedented scale. Studying this bizarre world, astronomers struggle to measure its mass precisely, but estimates place it between 10 to 40 Jupiter masses. J1407b is also a giant planet, substantially larger than our solar system's largest world. What astonished scientists was the planet's ring system of extraordinary dimensions. It consists of 30 rings, each spanning tens of millions of kilometers in diameter. The entire ring system's diameter reaches 120 million kilometers, 200 times larger than Saturn's rings. If Saturn possessed such a ring system, It would dominate Earth's night sky spectacularly. Though this would create a breathtaking view, it wouldn't persist. The rings would gradually thin as multiple satellites formed around the planet. But this represents just the beginning of cosmic strangeness the universe has revealed.